Tuesday afternoon, we're live in studio for Innovation Talk. Mike Suman is here. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Patrick?
Fantastic. Duane Weed is
Correct.
our guest. Not Tweed, Duane Weed. You are owner of DW Video. You help inventors tell their story. Boy, isn't that important.
That is fun.
I bet it's fun, too, the creativity.
Yes.
Take us through a normal day.
Well, it's about telling someone's story. So first of all, I've got to get to know them. I got to understand what it is they want to do. I got to understand what they want from their product, what their product does. And then we have to kind of figure out, okay, how do we get that out to the mass? What is it that we're doing? What's the benefit of their product, and how can we, sell it?
One thing that attracted me to what you do, Duane, is the fact that, I talk to a lot of people, inventors and small companies that want to grow and accelerate their growth through innovation. And I tell them they should prototype everything in their process. Don't just prototype the part. You have to prototype the marketing, the messaging, and all of that. And I've used you for a couple of what I don't think you call them prototype videos, but they work for me. Tell us just about that process.
Well, using you as an example, we had to figure out what it was that you wanted to do. What is your product? How is it working? And we discuss the benefits. I mean, it all comes back to the benefits. There can be a lot of features on a product, and that's okay, but how is it solving a problem? And I've noticed that with inventors, that there's always someone trying to solve a problem, and they found a better way, at least in their process. So it's a matter of, okay, what is the story? What's the problem? And then I start to go visual. As you're telling me, as we went through our process, you started telling me how the product worked. I started visualizing my shots. I was already editing the program before we even pulled the cameras out.
Well, and it forces inventors to figure out what their story is and what those benefits are.
Yes.
Rather than just repeating them in our head. When you have to actually write them down in a pre-script, it forces you to ask questions that maybe you haven't asked yourself.
That is correct.
Do you storyboard?
We do.
This seems a little old school, but I'm just curious to know what folks are doing these days.
In most cases, no, because there's more cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
things have changed a bit.
It has. Yeah. It has. But this process is still there. Okay, what is it you want to do? And this time, instead of storyboarding, we're trying to get what questions to ask. What's the benefit? How is this going to, help somebody? And we come up with that. And if we need to, we'll write a script. But so often we're not doing scripts as much.
How much time do you feel is best for delivering that story? Because you really, back in my copywriting and advertising days, a billboard, you have 3 to 5 seconds to get your message across. When you're doing these videos, do you have a parameter of how much time to get the attention, deliver the message?
Yes, the shorter the better. I mean, it really comes down, it depends on the product in some cases, but the internet has made us very impatient in our want of material. We want it now, and we want it quick. So we always look at trying to have something, 60 seconds or less. But then again, 2, 3, 4 minutes if the product is something that is of interest to an audience.
Right, depends on your audience.
It really does. It all comes back to the audience. I mean, if you're doing something that's a little bit more in-depth, or you're trying to really show something, you need to have a little longer. But almost everything that we're doing goes on the web, so we've got to keep it pretty short.
Another thing I think people have talked about, and I want you to talk a little bit about your involvement in Grand Rapids Inventor Network in a minute, but is that if they're having trouble finding a customer, a potential customer, whether it's a licensee or somebody to buy your stuff and distribute it, a private video on YouTube is a pretty good way to knock on the door.
It is, because, in your case, the very first video that we did, you didn't want the masses to know about it.
Right.
You were very select on where you wanted that to go. So we created the video, we put it on YouTube, and there's other video sharing places out there that they could have used. But you put it on there with a unlisted. So it's a link that only someone with that link can view it. It doesn't get categorized in the search engines, but it's there. So if you've got a small group of people that you're trying to do some test marketing to, This is a great way to do it without the world finding out about it. So, having that, and then fine tune it, go back, and then when it's time, make it live so the masses can see it, and have it on your website, and have it everywhere on the web you can possibly put it.
When the time is right. Another thing you do that I thought was pretty unique is your Buy Local video blog. Tell us about that.
Well, Buy Local Michigan is a video blog that I started in December. It kind of came to me through prayer, and I jumped on it and went with it. It came to me the middle of December, and by January 3rd, we were live. We've got now over 30 videos on there, and it keeps growing. And it's basically telling Michigan's story, business, communities, and people. And it's a way that we can tell all the good that's going out there, whether you're an inventor, whether you're a business owner, which I think inventors are business owners, but the fact that you're just getting that message out there about people. And we live in Michigan. I live in Michigan. I sometimes hear all the negative stuff, and this is a way to say, no, there's a lot of great people doing a lot of good things. And we started this blog. We bring them into the studio up in Howard City, and they come in. We have, just like we're doing here, a little conversation about what it is about their business they want to get out. And I put it on. I use my Facebook page for DW Video and Multimedia to announce when things are going live. And, it's just a way to get the word out and to share. It's a social community. Let's share with others, and it's starting to see some results already.
Social media itself, how much leverage are you getting as social media continues to grow and grow and grow? Is that really where the action is these days?
It seems to be, Twitter and Facebook. They tend to have their own uses. LinkedIn for more business related things. It's trying to get it out, and it's constant learning. I'm not a social media expert. I'm a student of social media, so I'm constantly learning. And sometimes I learn by doing something and failing, but I try not to fail so often that I constantly, because it's just a matter of testing. But I'm already finding in the short amount of time that I've been doing the video blog that social media is where this is going to go.
I also know that as a small business owner that you try to keep full-time employees down, and which created quite a network of support that you have, from writers to animators. Tell us a little bit about that.
I learned a long time ago that I was good at certain things and not in others. And Henry Ford had a row of buttons on his desk that he didn't have to be the smartest guy, but he had to put people in place that could do things for him. And I took that to heart. I went, I don't have to be the programmer. I don't have to be the motion graphic designer. I don't have to be the web designer. I know how to produce these things. I know how to put them together. And I just need to surround myself with talent that can do it. And that has worked out very well. I call it the DW Video Creative Team. And I get some very top-notch people that come in and work for me for your project, but only as you need it. So, for example, a writer. If it's a technical piece, I've got technical writers. If it's a piece that we have to have a lot of emotion and motivative, I've got writers that can do that too. So it's knowing who to put, what tool in the toolbox to use to get your job, but you're only paying for that person when you need them.
You mean to tell me you're not a creative control freak? You've learned to let go over time?
I would still be working on my first video, and there are things that if you want to be productive, you got to keep things moving.
Tell us what you're doing at Grand Rapids Inventor Network.
Grand Rapids Inventors Network, we're doing a series of videos for them to get the word out about them, and it's through, they kind of follow our Buy Local video profile analogy, where we just have people tell the story. We've interviewed. So
inventors that have an idea and you interview them, basically.
Yes. It started off with the board. Let's get to know the board of GRIN. And we've got some interviews up there. And then we went to the members, and the members are talking about, how GRIN has helped them. These are real. They're not scripted. We start with some basic questions, and we just let, the members tell the story. as a way to get out and to let other people in the inventor arena know that the Grand Rapids Inventors Network is a good place to go.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know about that, it's just Google GRIN, G-R-I-N, Grand Rapids, and you'll see when the meetings are, and they're free when you first come, and I think membership's like $50 a year or something.
Yeah.
So what else you got going on?
Well, the Buy Local Michigan video blog is my passion right now. It's where, after being in business for 30 years, it seems to be that I finally figured out what I want to be when I grow up. And, we're having some fun with it because we are telling people's stories. So, and that's, buylocalmichigan.us.
A website for DW Video?
Is dwvideo.com.
How simple. Duane Weed, owner, DW Video. Thank you so much.
Thank you.